Hey there, this is Heather Marquez of Action Coach Mind Links, and today we are joined by Candy Diercks, and she is the owner of Home Instead here in the Cedar Valley. So good morning, Candy.
Good morning, Heather. Thanks for having me on.
My pleasure. So you have a really wonderful job in caring for a lot of people and people that are important to those of us in the Cedar Valley. Tell us a little bit about your business, how long it's been around, and why you got into what you do.
My son and I started Home Instead back in 2007, and I was truly inspired with helping seniors and individuals remain in their homes. I worked with an insurance company and worked a lot with long-term care. And when it came time for my clients to have a need, there wasn't anything to fulfill that need. So I went about looking and I figured out Home Instead really fit what I wanted to do, the culture of the company and the desire to help people. And that's my big thing, is to help people remain home wherever they want to be. So we've been, 2000, we celebrated our 15th year anniversary in January.
Wow, congratulations. So why do you feel like it's so important for people to be able to get the care they need in home versus in another facility?
I think people need to have options and choices. A lot of times when somebody's at home, they tend to thrive more and do better in their own surroundings. And so sometimes they get better faster. Sometimes we're with people for greater lengths of time. We work with a lot of different individuals with different needs. So maybe somebody had a surgery and they're needing somebody for post-op surgery to recoup and get better. And sometimes it's a basic, maybe there is a little bit of dementia or some cognitive impairment going on, that they just need some supervision and some extra companionship and help. We just try to make sure that we enhance their lives and the families, because a lot of families work and aren't able to be one-on-one with their parents for 24 hours a day. They have families, they have jobs. And so we kind of meet that barrier for them and are able to keep their individuals where they want to be versus having to go into a facility and learn a different routine. Routine is really important to people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I noticed that you have pictures of lions in your office, one right behind you. Tell us what connects you to lions, because it's just a fascinating picture to have in the background.
I have always loved lions. I think they're just a big, majestic animal that has a lot of courage and strength. And they've always inspired me. So, and I have another one up on my other wall, which is a little gentleman. Well, I call him a gentleman. He's got a lot of battle scars through his face. And I said, it reminds me of my clients, because everybody has gone through a journey in life and everybody's journey is different. And this just signifies how we come along to their journey wherever it's at and help them along the way.
I love that. So as you have been a woman in business for now 15 years, what are some of the obstacles or challenges that you felt you needed to overcome that were maybe a little bit different because you were a woman in business?
Oh, that's a good question. I think sometimes people don't always listen to a woman. So I think, I've been always told I have kind of a strong personality, and I said, I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. But I usually, I'm a big advocate for people. And so I always want to make sure that people are, their needs get met. Okay. So as an obstacle would be sometimes we let people tell us what to do. And I think we need to flip that around and be the strong one, to be able to have the vision and to see what's needed and offer recommendations or offer solutions to individuals, and not let them dictate to us what they think is the best. So I think it takes to see what's needed in somebody's life. And that can be in my business, and that can be just in life in general. I just think the person needs to know what is our purpose and what do we want to do.
So you talked a little bit just a second ago about vision. What is your vision for Home Instead?
My vision is to enhance seniors' lives through quality care and helping all their families. So I want to make sure my vision is reaching as many people as I can to fulfill a need or help them be the best that they can be.
Love that. When you were starting your business, what was something that really surprised you about the whole starting a business process?
There's a lot of layers, You know, you can have the business side of it. I'm more of a people person, so I love visiting with people and, you know, talking and those types of things. And then there's the business side. And sometimes the business side kind of gets shoved under. And that's when you see a lot of failures. You have to really know business acronyms, whatever, for, you know, gross margin, cash flow, things like that. And there's quite a few different books that I had researched, I'd read. I also know you need to know where you want to be, and you don't want to get into a financial situation where you can't dig yourself out of. You need to be able to be a strong financial growth is where, and to be able to meet the needs of your employees. So that is something, you know, employees, if you don't have the great employees, you don't have a business. So to me, those are the ones you need to take care of first.
So you work in an industry where employment can be really tough and highly competitive. What are some of the things that you have done to retain and grow your team members?
One of the big things is you listen to them. You understand what their needs are, what their wants are, and try and engage them and make them part of, I call it the family, and treat them equally. I always say you don't want to treat anybody different. Everybody's the same. Just because I'm, quote, the owner of the business, that doesn't mean that I am any better than the person that's either providing the care or in my office, you know, cleaning, doing anything. I think treating people equal is a big thing. I also think that, you know, engaging people and recognizing, you know, their growth and accomplishment and the great things that they do, recognition goes a long ways.
Absolutely. Now, you're a pretty growth-minded individual yourself. What are maybe some of the resources or the authors that or speakers that you really have found have been beneficial to your growth and in growing your team?
One of them is John Maxwell. I love John Maxwell books, yes. And John Maxwell, anytime I can hear him or read one of his books, one of his favorite books to me is Sometimes You Win and Sometimes You Learn. And I think that is a true mindset that people don't understand. If you make a mistake, what can I learn from it? I mean, I always start off every time when I think, oh, did I do that right? I think, what did I do right? What did I do wrong? What can I do to be more successful? So I really think the mindset plays a huge part. So Patrick Luciani is another one that is really good and has great business acronyms. Now that you ask me, my brain is completely blank as the rest of them. This weekend, I just heard Chip Conley. He spoke at our convention, and he had wonderful ideas. There's another one, and I'm trying to think of the name of it. Brian, help me out here, Heather.
Brian Tracy?
Brian Tracy. I truly enjoy his books.
Love it.
Ken Blanchard.
Yes. So good.
I mean, I could go on. My cupboards are like lined with books, and people say, "Do you ever read all of those?" And it's like, yeah. And then I keep them because I want to read them again, or if I see somebody that I think one of them will help, I'll say, "Oh, you know what? I got a book for you. Here you go." Crucial Conversations is another one that I think is an awesome book. So reading to me is very inspiring, and it really keeps me motivated during the day, because there's sometimes, yeah, you can get pulled down and you get into the day-to-day work and you kind of lose focus on why you were there. You're in the drama and the chaos, and it's like, pull yourself out of that, because that sometimes can be extremely draining. So the other one, your mindset really does matter and makes a huge difference, because your dominant thoughts will control your actions. And sometimes we get stuck on a real dominant thought that we think, oh, well, this is never going to work because, and we have to learn to not say never. It's like, you need to find the solution. You need to figure out what's a different angle, what's something else I can do differently. What can I do as far as, inspiring my caregivers or care pros to be a better care pro, staff, anybody. I always am trying to look for different ways to engage and to make everybody's life easier. My true thought is, and I always tell all my staff, if you don't enjoy coming to work, you're in the wrong spot. You need to love what you do, and it's not work. It's fun. And if you don't, and even my care pros, it's like, if you don't love what you do, then maybe it is time that we transition into a different profession.
Yeah. So I want to go back to something you just said. You talked a little bit about asking yourself questions. When you talked about John Maxwell's book, Sometimes You Win, Sometimes You Learn, you talked about the questions that you ask yourself when you have a failure or something doesn't work out. And he has a great book called The 15 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, the 15 Laws of Growth. 15 laws of growth, 21 laws of leadership, 15 laws of growth. In the 15 laws of growth, he has the law of reflection. And I just did a teaching with a group on the law of reflection. And it's really about slowing down to speed up, hitting the pause button so that you can learn the lessons that you're supposed to learn and think into the things you should be doing or how to do them differently. So as a small business owner, how do you take time out for reflection? How do you slow down to speed up and be intentional about learning from the mistakes, learning from the past on this journey of small business ownership?
Well, every morning I usually do a self-reflection of the day prior, what happened, and or the week. I just kind of take a mental break. So you could call it meditation, you could call it just self-reflection, whatever. So I take time out early in the morning before I get my day actually going. And then periodically throughout the day, I try to take a breather just to keep myself centered and set. Because like I said, you can get caught up in the whirlwind and the chaos, and your day's gone and you think, did I really accomplish anything today? Or did I just put out fires? Or did I make a difference? So again, periodically throughout the day, and then at night, it's like when you sit down, I just kind of do a little debrief. Now it can be a minute or two. Sometimes I have to take a whole weekend, and when I do that, then I take a whole weekend. I always say it's a me day, or it's a me weekend, and I try to I would say make moments of joy, but do something fun, because if it is all work, your mind tends to shift the wrong direction. So you want to make sure that you take care of yourself and reflect back on, how things are going and the difference you want to make, and are you making that difference? That's kind of where I go for.
I love that point. I find that so many small business owners get caught up in the day-to-day that they forget to hit the pause button, and they lose track of why they went into business to begin with, why they started that particular business in that particular industry. And I think that remembering our why every day is sometimes the thing that actually gets us through when things get murky or difficult, and it does recenter. So as a woman in business, what advice would you give to other women looking to start their own business or already in it and maybe wanting to reach the level of success that you've had?
You have to have a dream. So, have a dream and then follow through with it. And remember, and again, I always say a winner is just a loser that just tried one more time. So don't let obstacles get in your way. You figure out how to get around those obstacles, and don't ever let somebody else intimidate you, because there's a lot of times where I'd be around somebody that I know was very, is very famous, or, a doctor, or somebody that I would think would be very intimidating. And it's like, don't let anybody intimidate you, man, a woman, profession. Again, think equal, and think the difference you make and what you can bring to the world and to your industry, to your family, to life. Yeah.
Love that. That is awesome. So anything we didn't talk about that you feel like would be important for anybody watching this video to know about your organization or you as a leader and business owner?
Like I say, you got to have a plan. That is true. You can't just say, oh, here it is. And you have to know the steps to get where you want to go. So always make sure that you have that, and everybody's plan is different and how you approach it. So some people might need that checklist of what has to be done. And some people do it differently, and if it is, having a coach, having a health coach or a mindset coach, somebody business coach, having that is always very beneficial. Knowing, somebody you have to turn to talk to, but keep focused and keep moving forward. And know when to say no. Like you mentioned earlier, Heather, sometimes we do get involved in a lot of things and we forget to tell people, I just don't have time to do that, because then I have 20 things on my plate and nothing gets done right. You need to have it where it's very manageable for you. And so I have been involved in a lot of different organizations where I've had to step back. Not that I didn't enjoy those organizations. It's just I was pulling myself way too thin. And so somebody was suffering, whether it was my family, my kids. I'm in a position now where my children are older and I'm in a family business because my husband's with us also. So it's my husband and my son. So it's fun to work as a family, but it also, you have to realize you have to engulf the whole thing with family and workers. So.
Love that. Love that. So if somebody is looking for some assistance for themselves or a loved one, whether it be after a surgery and they need some in-home care, or maybe some of that longer term in-home care with dementia, things like that, how do they get a hold of you?
They can go onto our website, which is homeinstead.com/662, or they can just call the office at any time, which is 319-235-5999.
Awesome. Awesome.
We do service the Cedar Valley, where we go out to 6 counties. So we're not just Waterloo, Cedar Falls. We do go into Kramer, Butler, Buchanan, Blackhawk, Grundy, Fayette. So we do have a wide area that we do insured care is provided to.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining today and sharing all of the nuggets of wisdom. One of the things I appreciate most about my interactions with you is that you really are a learner. And I think that is so incredibly important as a business owner, not just staying in your lane and learning about your industry, but continuing to learn and up-level your skills, your mindset, like you said, your business knowledge. And I think that's an incredibly important piece and something that you always seem so dedicated to doing, which I would say is probably fed into your success more than a lot of other things.
Well, thank you, Heather. It's been fun. I love talking and being with people. So thank you.
Wonderful. Thanks again for joining us. We will put your details in the video below. Please check out Home Instead for your in-home care needs. Thanks, Candy.
Thanks. Bye now.